when we're dealing with drilling down to the core, to the center of who we are, it's so important to know that that's a must do. You have to know, you have to be certain of who you are at your core in order to achieve all the things that you want to achieve and to get to the places that you're trying to go. And by the way, that you're destined to go. Hi, it's Dr. Maya. Thank you so much for joining me again today and just continuing on this amazing journey of self discovery and motivation and just achieving our best selves. If you're already familiar with me, just a brief introduction. You probably know that I'm a physician, I'm a Midwest native, a single mommy, but also an author and life coach. And really motivated at the core of who I am by helping people to really achieve their best selves and to express the best versions of themselves, not only for them, but for the world around them. And so, speaking of that, today's video I'm calling Core Competence. It's going to be a two-parter. When we're talking about the core of who we are, what we're really talking about is taking, like I said, a deeper dive so that we can better understand, identify who am I, right? Who is at the core of who I am? This is the very essence of who we are and also gives us a sense of our purpose and our destiny because it's at the core where we're going to find the maps and the sketches that are going to lead us on this journey to being the best version of ourselves and to expressing the highest version of ourselves. Okay, so core competency. This is actually a business term that was developed by two brilliant business minds. So I'm going to do just a quick definition. Core competency. It can be defined as a combination of skills and resources that work in concert together, harmonize in a sense, as the foundation of what sets the company apart in the marketplace and also what makes them competitive. Okay, so just to simplify that, as I was reading that, I thought, well, what imagery do I get in talking about core competency or our core competence? I think of it as your core competence it would be represented by the roots of a tree, right? And the branches would represent or hold the product that you're putting out into the world. And your product is really a direct extension or expression of what lies at the roots. Okay, so this is probably a term that you have heard before, especially if you work in any office setting or corporate setting, medical setting. A lot of the human resources or HR departments tap into this idea or concept of core competency. And in a sense, what they're doing is they're bringing their employees into this definition and saying, okay, how does each individual contribute to the greater core competency of our company or what our company stands for? For example, an employee's ethics, right? An employee's communication skills, their independence, their motivation. There's so many things. But likewise, and why I wanted to tie that in, we as individuals, as people, we also are about the business, right, of our own core competency and thereby being able to bring the best version of ourselves up out of that core and into a reality, a very real reality, no matter how far away you feel from that. Believe me, it is there. It is deep down inside. It exists. But we have to know what's there. We have to know what's at our core. Okay, so when it comes to core competence, the way we're talking about it today in this discussion, really, I'm thinking about two branches. Okay. So, number one, who am I? Who are you? What am I? and being able to really identify and define who we are as people, right? And number two, what things do I need? What things do I require in order to both survive, yes, but also to thrive, just on a day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year basis, long term and short term? What things do I need both to survive and thrive? So, those are the two things I want you to be thinking about as we're moving through these two videos. All right, so in terms of myself, and I will say for these next couple of videos, just because this topic is so important to me, and I think there's so much that you could say about it, I want it to be a little more personal, a little more vulnerable. And so I want to share my list with you. When I started with the second, which is what things do I need just to survive, just to thrive, I made a list of seven. And for me, the list started very simple because, I just wanted to see how far this I could develop this thing. But sometimes we have to just start small and start simple. Number one, I said oxygen. I need air to breathe. I don't have to be super deep. I just need air. I have to have oxygen to breathe. You take that away, we're done. Okay. Number two, I need food. I need food and water. So I wrote that down. I said, okay, I have to eat. I have to have food and water at some point, right? If I'm going to survive, if I'm going to just get through the day. Number three, I said, I have to have proper rest, proper sleep. More specifically, really good sleep patterns and sleep habits, because these are the things that contribute to just how we're showing up in the world every day, right? All right, so oxygen, food and water, getting plenty of sleep, good sleep habits. Okay, number four, I thought, well, let's dive a little deeper. I need intimate relationships, right? I need connections. I need people, right? No matter whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, no matter how you recharge, we still need people. These intimate connections, these relationships are so vital to not only just our day to day survival, but also in terms of how and who we're connected to, and how this is going to play out in terms of getting to that next level. I'm going to take a quick stop here because this is actually so important. There is another video series that I think you should check out if you haven't already. And it dives a little deeper into this idea, this concept of the importance of recognizing and identifying who and what we're connected to, how this is impacting our journey, and also when to disconnect from those things that are those people that are may not be as profitable on our journey. Okay, so relationships. So we talked about oxygen, food, water. We talked about good sleep habits, yeah, forming relationships and feeding these intimate and important personal relationships. The next I thought about was financial stability. We need financial stability. It doesn't mean that we have to be necessarily millionaires and billionaires, but we need financial stability if we are going to both survive and thrive in this life. And the last two I thought kind of went hand in hand, because number six on my list was spirituality. For me, that most certainly lives and thrives at the core of who I am, is my sense of spirituality. And so, whatever that looks like for you, your soul, one thing is for sure, I think we can all agree, is that we are more than what meets the eye, right? We are more than just what's on the exterior, just what's on the surface. There is so much going on inside of us: our mind, will, emotions, what drives us, what moves us, what takes us up, what takes us down. It is so important that we are tied into, we are identifying that internal part of us and feeding that and are aware of what's going on there. So for me, my spiritual development is huge, a huge part of my core competence. Okay, last on my list, I think goes with that, actually is my rest. A little different than just my sleep. I'm talking about pulling back from just the rigmarole, the day to day. All of us are just kind of point to point, so many of us, and we're just moving about here and there. And yes, we want to get to that next level. We have that drive, we have that yearning, that desire. Yes, we want to get that win. Yes, we just want to show up in the world, right? And just be good, just do great and do great things. but we need to make sure that periodically we pull back, right? And for me, anyway, that was, I believe, an important thing to put on my list in terms of the things that I need to survive and to thrive, my identifying what's at the core of me, understanding my own core competence. Okay, my list of 7. Everybody's list is going to be different. For some, they're going to say, I must exercise, I must run, I must read, I must develop myself intellectually. There are so many different things that could go on that list, but what's important is that you identify what are the things that I need, what things live at the core of me and actually determine my survival and my ability to thrive and do great things in the world. Having made that list, and I really want you to take time to do this list and spend some time in thinking about this and identifying who I am at my core. That's just the first step. The second step is really diving down even a little deeper and saying, well, who am I? Those two things, of course, are going to go hand in hand. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more in the next video. But until then, spend some time thinking about this. Really sit down, make your list. And then we're going to reconnect in the next video. And I guarantee you, if you take your time to do this, you are well on your way to your next win. So until the next video, bye. Dr. Maya. See you at the next time.